Good morning. Welcome to BSP Live. You're with Rob Dorey and Craig Connolly, and this is part 7, where we're going to look at people and how they affect transforming your business and transforming your life. Good morning, Rob. Welcome.
Morning, Craig. How are you?
I'm very well. Now, people is a very sort of complicated task, and I know a lot of SME business owners would run for cover when they get into this topic. So you're going to enlighten them today.
I've got new glasses today, and actually on this first slide, it's a new slide. So for those that have been following us, we had the old business success program model, and we've just redone it. So I thought we would use that for the presentation this morning. So basically, it's the same model that you've seen the other 6 times in the presentation. The strategic elements up at the top, starting on the bottom left, product and service we've covered, marketing and sales we've covered. Today we're talking about people. We'll cover off system and process, finance and reporting in the next thing. And then there's one more in how you manage the change initiative in the master task log. So today is people. The people part and people management is a well-developed science. It's not even an art. It's a well-developed process. In the small to medium-sized business, we will call it an evolving process. There's something there. Invariably, when you're talking with business owners and you say, and one of the exercises we do when we start a project is an issues and opportunity. And almost invariably, the people management is an issue or an opportunity. And if you're going to grow a business, say your business is 500 or a million or 2 million and you want to double or triple it, people management and getting that right is a key part of success in that thing. So what we've got is a model that we've got essentially the part here, and I don't want to make it bigger than it is because our job in this process is to make this simple, and it can be simple and the principles are simple, but it's a matter of understanding them and saying at this stage of my business, what's important. So basically, we've got probably 3 areas of people. One is up at the top is all about recruitment and, building your organization or replacing your organization. The second part is probably management. And then the third part is sort of miscellaneous things that fall into the people area. But if you start up at the top, planning personnel needs, you got a business plan now, you've gone through, you've looked at your marketing and sales. The key question in this area is what number of people, what sort of people, what skills do we need in order to execute our strategy? And that's planning personnel needs. So once you've got a handle on the planning the personnel needs, and you may have some new positions, but even if you don't have new positions, looking at your existing positions, if you don't have job specifications or position descriptions or whatever they're called, that is where you start. And what it is it forces you as a business owner or a practitioner or a consultant or whoever happens to be listening to this video to go through and really understand what you're looking for in that role. The essence of it is, why does this role exist? In terms of the strategy in the business, what are the key functions in that role? And then the third part of that is, what are the key attributes of a person that will be successful in that role? Maybe it's a sales role and communication, effective communication, understanding complex things and making them simple. Those can be attributes of a role. So you've now got a position description, you know what you're doing, you're going to go out and recruit. And quite often we'll stumble into a situation where someone says, it's impossible to recruit. Well, the truth is it's not impossible. And all you've got to do is be better than everybody else that's recruiting. And if you have a system and a process, I can guarantee you will be better than everybody else. And you will be able to recruit ahead of other people. And we've got lots of stories like that. By putting in place a process, person has 3 choices of where they could go work. They'll come your way if you get your best foot put forward. Onboarding, so now you've gone through, and recruiting the right people has things like interview guides, position description, obviously. You'll spend time in the interview process discussing the vision of your business and where you're going and why that's exciting. And what you need to do in the people area is stand in the potential employee's spot they've got a career that they're interested in, they've got a mortgage, they've got a family, they've got all sorts of things, and you're asking them to hook their wagon to your wagon for their career and their livelihood. So this is your opportunity to paint that picture and show them that this will be the greatest decision they've ever made in their life. This is the forum, and that's how the big corporates do it, and that's how we can do it as well. So onboarding, so now you've recruited somebody, you've got them through the fire and you're coming. The key thing there is to think through in a detailed way what you can do before that employee arrives on site. So they're going to start on the 12th of August, Monday. I don't know whether the 12th of August is Monday, that was a guess. But they're going to start on that particular day. So it's what things can you do before that employee arrives. So you can have obviously a copy of the position description to review it one-on-one with them. You can have the contract. You can possibly even get the contract signed before. You may have keys to the office. You may have credit cards. You may have a car. You may have email access. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do if you put your mind to it before the employee arrives. The employee comes in, they sit down with you as the owner. That's the way you do it. And you go through and you say, here, da-da-da-da-da-da, and you review, say, their first week or first 2-week induction. So you've thought through, how are we going to induct this employee? The end in mind of that first day is you want that employee to go home and talk to their spouse and said, holy smokes, these guys are organized. I've never seen anything like this before. And the beauty of it is, remember, they're hooking their wagon to your wagon, and you want to confirm on that first day of employment that this was the right decision for them. And you can do that very simply by being very organized and thinking about it from their perspective. So that's sort of the onboarding and the recruitment part of it. So now you've got some new employees. Performance management is a whole science unto its own. And really, it's just about putting in place structures. And, we don't have time in this. You could do a couple of blogs just on performance management. Maybe we will at some point for the purpose of this. But this is managing your employees on a monthly basis. It's things like regular one-on-one discussions about them, their role, particularly in the first 90-day period, but ongoing after that. It's having 2 annual reviews, 6-month review and an annual review. It'll be having personal development plans, at least for key employees, but ideally for all employees. There's a whole bunch of stuff in performance management that separates and creates a better work environment for your employees and everything. So you get into sort of miscellaneous things now. There's a bunch of stuff that fall into people, and it's a matter of thinking these things through. Technical and leadership training, is that part of, if it's going to happen, it's happening through this people box. And training, again, think about it from the employee's perspective. This is a contribution you're making that they get to keep for the rest of their life and use for the rest of your life. And you get the benefit of it while they work with you. So investments in training are great investments in terms of people. Divining and managing the compensation scheme can be very, very basic. Hourly wage, this and that. Maybe it's no incentive compensation, but if you're going to have an incentive compensation, think that through. Think about how it is. Is it, and there's a lot of science behind compensation. And then look at, non-monetary compensation benefits. Maybe it's a Southern Cross health insurance scheme or something. Those are all part of it. But the trick is to think it through. Health and safety program, which are certainly in New Zealand, are pretty well developed now, or in a very, very developing stage, but it's part of this people one. Motivation and organization culture, and managing that culture and realizing that it is something you can manage as part of people. And then the employee communication at all levels. Do you have weekly meetings? Do you have monthly meetings? What do you review? Do you have quarterly meetings? Do you have an annual retreat? What do you do? But it's thinking through that whole employee. So you put this thing together, and what you're trying to do, and I can tell you, based on our experience, that in the SME space, you do this well, you will set yourself apart from everybody else. Mm-hmm. And that's the key thing. So when people are talking about, who do you work for? Oh, I work for XYZ. Well, how's that going? That's going very, very well. And, in this, one of the tests you want from a culture and an end result perspective, if you've got a new employee and 6 months down the track, or even an existing employee at some point in the future, and will they pass the ultimate culture test? Would you recommend this as a place to work for your best friend? And if you can look at your employees today, and I encourage you to do that, and what would they answer? And you'll know what they'll say. They'll say, oh, no, I wouldn't. Or maybe, or what you want to create, and you can create, is absolutely, this is amazing. And the difference between I don't think so and amazing creates huge value in your business. And that's what this whole thing is about.
Yeah. So that's a really good overview there, Rob. So what's the easiest way for SMEs to actually implement these things and stay on track?
Yeah, that's a great question, Craig, because you can be intimidated and you can get lost in this thing. The thing to keep in mind is it's very simple. And the trick is to start, and the trick is to learn. So take it on and try and learn and start to apply. And the coaching that I would give you is take it on as a 1-year project or a 2-year project even. You know, we're going to move from where we are today to where we know we can be. That's what this whole process is about. It's about creating, you know, a world-class business. This does not happen overnight. Don't stop everything you're doing to put this in place and smother the organization with this process. Go to work, understand the principles, decide what's right for my organization today. How do I get started and get started?
Fantastic. Well, that's a way for an SME to sort of really be better than a big corporate who's got an HR manager and all the bells and whistles. Brilliant.
Go home and look in the mirror, and you're the HR department in most small to medium-sized businesses. The number I use, it's an interesting question, because some of the businesses we work with aren't SMEs. My view, in-house HR person, 50 or above employees. If you're above 10 or 15, probably 15 maybe, I would make sure you've got some HR external resource available to you to support your programs, because, you know, as the numbers get bigger, it's there. So if you're a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 person organization, you're it. You know, you're it. You can sometimes develop some of the skills in some of the people in the organization. You know, when we go back to the training, say you've got a, you know, somebody that works across the organization or has an interest in people, you know, they can learn a lot of this stuff. But as your organization grows, you need to factor in some external resource and then potentially some internal resource as you go forward. But it's a powerful, powerful part of creating a world-class business.
Yeah, and I love the part that you're not trying to eat the elephant in one go, that it's a project over a year or 2 years, because it's certainly, as you say, for people recommending to work for your business, there's nothing more powerful than that, is there?
No, and that's the key thing in everything that we're talking about in this whole thing. It's a journey, and the journey is to have a map. That's what we've done already. And then just to take her by degrees and start and do things. And we're going to talk in the, not the next session, the one after, is how you actually do that with a master task log. It's a very, very simple concept. If you embrace it, you can eat the elephant. We'll bring it back.
Fantastic.
Very good. Thanks, Craig.
We're going to wind it up now, and tomorrow we've got part 8. So we'll see you then, Rob, bright and early. Thanks again.
Good work. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.